Our next speaker, well, wait a minute, real quick. Who here has been tested by a 23andMe? All of your joy is about to go away. Our next speaker is going to explain why that is just infotainment. Please welcome my very good friend, Dr. Jenny Rooke.
I'm going to start by getting my biases right out on the table. I love DNA. It's my favorite thing in the whole world. I spent 6 years studying it, and I've invested hundreds of millions of dollars, literally, in helping other people study it and make things with it. I'm super excited about it. So when 23andMe came out a few years ago, my friends started to ask me, should I get tested? I said, absolutely, this is great. Many more people can access DNA and get to learn about my favorite thing. But be aware, as Brady just said, I think you should think of it kind of like infotainment. It's a cross between a Cosmo quiz and an Ignite. You get to take a, you get to take a test about yourself, you share your results with your friends, and you might just learn something. But my friend said, no, I'm really interested in the health implications. I got my results back, and I think I should be exercising more. I said, well, you can give me the $99, and I could have told you that. But more disturbingly, they started saying things about their health risks that were quite serious, whether they might be, say, at risk for breast cancer. And this terrifies me because I know that there is a chasm between your DNA and health implications in many situations. So my objective here is not to steal your joy. I still love DNA and I want you to as well. But I do want to make you informed and skeptical consumers when you're approaching DNA. So first, let me tell you about association studies, which is how we know about how DNA relates to health. The way these studies are done, typically, you take hundreds of patients who have a given disease, say heart disease, and hundreds of people who don't, and you type them for millions of genetic markers. And if a given genetic marker shows up more often in patients than in healthy people, you say it's associated with the disease. Now that's great, but you probably already know that many academic results, a disturbing proportion of them, are never able to be repeated. I'm here to tell you it's even worse for association studies, which by their very design will necessarily come up with some associations between genetic markers and diseases by random chance. If you're familiar with data analysis, the phenomenon of data dredging is relevant here. So, random chance, one thing to watch out for. Another thing to watch out for is our monkey brain tendencies to overinterpret data. Right. So, it's understandable, when we do tests like this, we want to know about the future. We want to draw conclusions. Of course, that is the nature of diagnostic testing. It's not very interesting to confirm a result that we already know about. We'd like to know information that will help us make decisions about the future. But I'm here to tell you that the result that a genetic marker is, say, twice as likely to show up in a population with heart disease is not the same as if you have that marker, you're twice as likely to have heart disease. I would love to teach you the biostatistics class on why that's the case. We don't have time. But for now, please walk away with the caution that association is not prediction. Finally, I want to draw your attention to the idea that when we're talking about the implication of DNA and health, we are encouraged by the media and maybe our high school biology classes to think of DNA as a very simple relationship. Say one gene might cause eye color. It's tempting to extrapolate to things like disease risk. But I'm here to tell you that it's more complicated than that, which you already know. The set of factors that are going to affect your health include DNA, yes, of course, but also your behavioral choices, your age, your biological sex, what drugs you're taking, your environmental exposures. And as much as it pains me to say it as a geneticist, quite often the tiny slice of your health pie that is affected by DNA is much smaller than all of these other factors. It's even more complex than that because the relative importance of a given genetic marker is different for every individual, every marker, and every disease. So, what are we to do when it's this complicated? That's what I want you to take away. It is complicated. But don't let me steal all your joy. There are a couple things you can do. One, knowing that it's complicated, we as consumers, we do need experts to help us interpret these tests. Same way if you got an MRI, you wouldn't try to read it yourself or maybe send it in to a website, right? You're gonna need some experts. So we call on doctors. That's great. But you know what? They need us too. This field is moving so quickly that they can't stay on top of it. So it's excellent for you to be curious, get tested, go out and learn. But now, please keep in mind, as the informed, skeptical consumers that you are, the factors of random chance, association is not prediction, and it's complicated.